Westworld, and we're all just living with it, with it and in it. I'm Terry First, this is Eric Goldman, and we are live at the premiere of Westworld in Hollywood, California. This is HBO's next huge new sci-fi show.
Yeah.
We've both seen 4 episodes. Obviously, we can't spoil it for you, but we are very excited about it. We're going to get a chance to talk to the casting crew tonight.
All I'll say is, usually Game of Thrones is the only show that HBO does premieres for at the Chinese theater. So, you know that they've got some big thoughts about this one, if they're even putting a huge premiere here. 'Cause usually this is big movies premiere at this theater, not TV shows.
So, we are here to talk to the casting crew. We're going to get rolling interviews, but also sort of talk to you guys about why we're really excited about the show.
Yeah.
So, forgive us, we might get interrupted in the middle of a thought. We'll come back to it, but we are here to grab the casting crew. First and foremost, if you don't know what Westworld is, you're probably a little confused why we're so excited about it. It's a new show from J.J. Abrams, Lisa Joy, and Jonathan Nolan. J.J. Abrams, you know, Star Wars, Star Trek, basically every big nerdy
Felicity.
property we love at this point. Definitely Felicity. Lisa Joy and Jonah Nolan, married, producing couple. You definitely know Jonah from Person of Interest.
And he wrote small movies called The Dark Knight, that trilogy he was involved in with his brother Chris. And then Lisa Joy wrote for Burn Notice and Pushing Daisies. And this is their first, I believe, collaboration.
And this is a really big project. Sorry about the sirens in the background. We can't do anything about that. Damn LAPD. But so they're working together on adapting. Written by Michael Crichton, came out in the 70s. That's basically it. If you watch it, you'll understand how we eventually got to Jurassic World. About this Western theme park. Androids, so there's really no cost. But in the movie, the androids rebel. Whether that ends up happening in the show remains to be seen. There's definitely a lot more mystery here, but it's ripping on that general concept and bringing it to a broad TV show.
It's safe to say, though, it's not going to be that everything goes exactly as planned with the robots. There's something happening there. I will say that Michael Crichton also directed the movie. I had no idea that Michael Crichton wrote and directed movies. I just know
at least one.
At least one.
At least one. So this pilot is actually directed by J.J. Abrams.
No, Nolan.
Yeah. Nolan. I'm messing here. But J.J. Abrams, you definitely feel that stamp. Production value is just incredible here. The show very much takes place in Westworld itself, in that Western setting, but also in sort of the modern lab control room setting of the people behind the scenes. So you get a bunch of characters who are androids within the show, and the show is a good fun time sort of messing around with who's an android, who's not. It takes you probably an episode to figure out who is and who isn't, as well as you have an incredible cast behind the scenes in the control room at Westworld. Anthony Hopkins plays Dr. Robert Ford, one of the creators of the park, and he's in a lot of fun stuff in the show.
Yeah, and Jeffrey Wright plays his sort of right-hand man, another one of the main sort of programmers at Westworld. Really an amazing cast all over. Ed Harris is in the show, playing a sort of mysterious man in black.
Yeah, the man in black is all we know about him.
Yeah,
so far, really.
Certainly visually evokes Yul Brynner, who's probably the most famous part of the original movie, was this cowboy played by Yul Brynner. And then James Marsden's in this show.
Evan Rachel Wood, yeah.
There's an amazing cast in the show. It's not lacking for impressive actors.
Very much like. Yes. But I would say is probably, she's like the heart of the show, or at least her point of entry in it. She plays one of the hosts is what the androids are called, named Dolores, and we sort of watch her loop where in the show the hosts are programmed to tell stories that are a conduit for the guests to go on an adventure. So if something terrible happens to her 5 minutes in, she resets the next day, starts the same story, and it's a really interesting framing device for the episodes as you see sort of the same storylines, the same androids play out over and over with different variations as we get to understand the larger tapestry we're getting to.
Yeah, it's like she's living this Groundhog Day existence, but she's not aware of that. Will she become aware of that, of course, might be a central question of the show. But it's really interesting to see as it begins, using it through her point of view, what it's like to every day start the day the same way, but then once you run into one of the guests, you don't know what's going to happen next. They can kind of take you in a very different direction.
So if you're just joining us now, we are live at the Hollywood premiere of Westworld, HBO's next big sci-fi drama. We're going to give you a view of the premiere because things are really crazy right now. A lot of the stars are arriving, but stay tuned because we'll be back with some interviews shortly.
What does it mean to be alive? What does it mean to want to be alive? Below that, all of the $20. Makes sense to get them 50 cents anywhere else. And we get a chance to make a comment about that now. It's a privilege to be on that show and to be part of that wave. No project full. Yeah.
Shit. Yes. Could not be on anything else.
The aspects of HBO that people are drawn to is the idea that they do material that they believe in.
I can tell you.
Oh no.
So the level of work that comes out from I just watched that idol. I mean, what? Right? And so to think that we're kind of riding on that wave too, each has got really quality products that come out recently. It's privilege to work on what you're quality of work.
Like me.
Or like, Jonah Nolan or Lisa Joy. HBO really gives them enough of an umbrella to
Alright guys, we're back. Sorry about that. We had some technical mic difficulties, but hopefully you can hear us now. We're live. We're dealing with all the hurdles that come with being live. But if you're just joining us now, I am Terry Schwartz, this is Eric Goldman, and we are at the world-famous Chinese Theater in Hollywood, California, for the premiere of Westworld, HBO's next big sci-fi drama that we are very, very excited about. We're actually about to get to the actors right now. Hey guys.
Hi.
Terry Schwartz from
Ptolemy.
So nice to
Hi,
meet you.
Leo.
So we're live on Facebook with all our followers. We're actually very, very excited about Westworld.
They should be. In here, really as excited.
Now, you guys sort of play on the behind-the-scenes control room side of the show. Like a big fan. We're next to Angela, who plays Clementine, one of the hosts, but you guys work behind the scenes. On the control room side, what do you think is so compelling about the idea of meeting these alien characters and the idea of sort of man trying to control science and control things maybe not?
Yeah, we were just talking about iPhones that you're actually shooting on currently.
Yeah, 10 years.
This is a much more developed version of that exact item. So now it is a part of our lives, and it's something that we have gone from just using to being. So the level of human interaction with these things is almost deeper than with each other. It's pretty fascinating. And there's that concept of birth, or giving birth to a new type of living, or what life means to a new type of creature almost. So this thing, it's been crazy because we're dealing with forces we don't understand. What they're supposed to, these things are supposed to be an iPhone, and they're much more than that. So.
What would you say is sort of the growing threat on the show? Obviously, the movie that it's based on, the Michael Price movie, Westworld from the 70s.
I wrote the book.
But well, no, he wrote, directed the film. Yes.
From the book originally.
Yes, but it's a bit more of a straightforward story, sort of that version. And this obviously is a lot more complex. We're making a show about it. So what would you say is sort of the burgeoning threat that you guys are dealing with in the first few episodes of the series?
Major threat is keeping our job for the most part. For us, shit goes down, and it's just save your job. Save your job. What the hell is happening? So I basically described the first 2 episodes from our vantage point, just trying to preserve our lives.
What about from the larger show as well, the larger threat?
From the larger show, the deeper question has to be, what is life? Where is life deserved? Where do you deserve to call yourself life? And where do you deserve to lose your life because of the way you have run your life? So there's a lot of questions having to do with sin, having to do with like the way you use the life you have, and there's a lot having to do with who deserves to be even called living, who deserves to decide their own choices, and who decides to have their choices taken from them. Does this make sense?
It absolutely. I've seen 4 episodes.
Oh, good. Okay.
They have no idea what the broad things.
Okay,
But you're
good.
talking about very specific things that will make sense once you see the episode.
Yeah.
Now, I still.
What is life?
What is life?
What is life?
This show is one of those that has a cast I've ever seen, yourselves included, but you guys have Anthony Hopkins in every episode. First
Tony.
Tony, you guys are and also J.J. Abrams producing. There's so many people involved. Did you guys have a pinch me moment at all when you were filming season 1? Where you're like, look
All
at
the
what
time.
we
Are you kidding me? Like, as an actor, you know, I grew up in Australia, and then to be here and to have that dream to say, hey, you know what? I'm going to give it a go. I'm going to give it a go. I'm going to be an actor. I'm going to go train in New York, then be in Hollywood, and then to suddenly see your name on the call list before you're working, and to see Sir Anthony Hopkins there, along with Tandy Newton, along with James Marsden, along with, like, just the list is endless. And then you see your name along there, and you're like, now, is this real? Is this really
It does not
happening?
seem real. And even the production value of this show as an actor, like I remember when we first met, we were in these outfits that you have seen.
Yes.
But you'll see.
Which you will see, but even that is a pinch me moment. It's like, what the fuck is happening? It's so
Pretty surreal.
big, and it's so beautiful inside of this space that it's almost unreal.
Well, you guys bring up your outfits, which again sounds like a very non-specific thing right now.
No,
but you'll
it's
see
very specific.
It grows to be a much more important part of the show, even by episode 4. So for people who you can sort of set up now, who might go and watch episode 1, is there one moment that might seem small and insignificant when they watch it, where you can tell people now, keep an eye on that one seemingly small thing?
Good Lord. I'm going
I'm
to...
just asking for one.
All right.
Just one.
There is 1/2 second in which you see the 2 of us in the first episode. And you will see
Watch
more
out
of
for
us. So look out for that moment, because that's the
We're
moment
like,
we're in.
that's Ptolemy and Leonardo.
Yeah, because we shot the pilot and they split it. It was so much material that they split it into 2 episodes. So all of our pilot stuff is in the second. So you only see us for half a minute. Under that half of 1 second, it's definitely the kind of thing that our mothers would enjoy.
So
But
definitely Ptolemy and Leo's mothers pay attention to
yes,
that
pay
one
attention
moment.
to that one moment.
Everyone else, keep an eye out for
We
their
really are on the show.
Yes.
No, we really are.
Well, awesome. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Nice talking to
Chat
you.
with you.
Hi, guys.
Thank you. I'm going to steal Eric back with me now.
Hello.
First interviews down.
Yeah.
Big stars yet to come. We have James Marsden, Evan Rachel Wood, Andy Newton. You heard them.
Jeffrey Wright.
Jeffrey Wright. You heard them teasing it. We also have J.J. Abrams walking this carpet.
Yeah.
Nolan, Lisa Joy.
No
Very
Anthony
exciting
Hopkins,
guys.
unfortunately, but we think that's because he's being Thor's dad right now on the other side of the
You know,
world.
but you think apparently in Thor Ragnarok, he's just walking around sort of slumming it. Apparently Odin is not having the best movie as King of Asgard. So I think, he should be able to jaunt over here from the
But
streets.
Sir Tony might be having the time of his life.
He probably is. He certainly seems like he's having the time of his life in this movie. And if you're just joining us now, or if you've been watching for a little bit, Westworld is not. This is not the first time that Westworld is explored. It's a book. It's a movie. And there's Eric. Talk people through a little bit of the history of Westworld to the point that they'll be seeing on October 2nd.
1973 movie from Warner Brothers, and yeah, the big deal here was it was written and directed by Michael Crichton, who is best known, of course, as the author of Jurassic Park, but he was a filmmaker at the time as well. And yeah, he made this movie about a theme park that very rich people can pay to go to, that the Wild West is recreated. And these robots are there to be the people you interact with. And that could be someone that you get in a shootout with. That could be a prostitute. That could be the local sheriff. And you see these guys on vacation go to Westworld and having a good time until everything goes horribly wrong and the robots kind of turn on them and start attacking and killing them. It's a cool movie. It's definitely of its era, and it feels like a 1973 sci-fi movie. But I still think it holds up. I think that it really works still. It's core. And Creighton completely copied himself later with Jurassic Park.
Which came out about 2 decades later.
Yeah, it's the same concept of the high-tech theme park, something you've never seen theme park, and everything goes wrong. It also feels a lot like a precursor to the Terminator. If you watch it, and you watch especially Yul Brynner, who plays the main bad robot, and he's coming after these guys.
Bad robot.
Hey! Jim's like, I gotta make this. Bad robot. But yeah, everything about the way he walks, and the way he barely speaks, and the point of view shots with the red-tinted sort of robo-vision. I think James Cameron had seen, nothing against, I love the Terminator, but I think James Cameron had probably seen Westworld.
Well, definitely. I mean, like Terminator then went on to influence many other movies. It's one of
that's
those
what always
things.
happens.
And it's interesting because I actually have not seen the movie yet, but I'm going to. You let me borrow your copy. And then stay tuned if you're really interested in us talking about the movie, because we are going to talk about that later. And again, sorry if you're having a hard time hearing us. We are live on Hollywood Boulevard. There's a lot of traffic going by, but we're doing our best to shout at the microphone.
Yeah.
But yeah, it does seem like Westworld was maybe a bit ahead of its time in a lot of concepts, even in the way that Jurassic World has replaced androids with dinosaurs and the Wild West with Costa Rica. It sort of hit at the right moment. But this is, again, dealing with the same themes of like man trying to control something, life that's outside of his control, and what happens when he loses it.
Yeah, and also man doing something for a specific purpose, in this case, same as Jurassic Park, entertainment that is really opening a can of worms that maybe the people who are doing this aren't ready for. You know, they're just thinking like, isn't this cool? I'll make some money, but you're doing a whole lot of...
We're actually going to get one of the actors very shortly, so apologize if we jump over to chat. We're going to be talking to Angela, who plays Clementine, who's actually one of the hosts on the show. We already talked to Leo and blanking on the other gentleman's name because it's a very complicated one. Ptolemy.
Yeah.
It has a lot of silent letters, letters in it, consonants. But so Clementine is one of the hosts in Westworld.
Yeah.
And we actually meet an array of hosts right from the first episode. But as we sort of
all the robots are called hosts by the people who made them.
All the androids, because they are the hosts of the park. They have different storylines that are programmed into them. And actually, throughout the show, you meet some of the earlier hosts that have been retired who there's a clip that HBO released today that you can watch on our site from Westworld where Anthony Hopkins' character, Dr. Ford, is talking about how just a handshake from one of the earlier models would give away that they were androids.
Yeah.
These new ones are supposed to be so seamlessly integrated into the world that you might not know if they are human. And in fact, the first episode, the premiere that's going to premiere on Sunday, really plays around with that fact for some of the characters who you might think are human or think are android or the other way around.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm curious going forward how much the show will do that. I don't think it's going to be a show about that week to week, but I think once in a while, maybe they can have fun with your preconceived notions.
Well, actually, there is one character, and I'll say that from the start. Ed Harris plays maybe the villain. I would say, at least from or that story or not, he certainly is a character who seems like he could go a variety of different ways.
Yeah, and I definitely think there's going to be a lot of moral ambiguity in this show, especially with the humans, and how much are they sort of taking responsibility for creating these life forms who are possibly becoming sort of sentient in a way that they never expected, and who might be more merciless about that, and just think that's just bad code, versus those who might think, well, no, this is something we built that is evolving, and maybe we should sort of continue to go that. I will say that I'm a huge fan of Person of Interest, which was Jonathan Nolan's last show, also dealt with sort of AI concepts, but not in a robot body form, but still that idea that if you create this computer that might be evolving faster than you expected, and what do you do about that? How do you react to that?
Now, you're just coming to us now. We are live at the Westworld premiere in Hollywood, California, and it's not just Eric and I on this carpet. There are a whole bunch of people, so we're going to give you a look at both the crowd and the carpet right now. When you come back, we'll be here chatting with some of the stars, so stay tuned.
check.
Yes.
For my viewers, how would you describe this Westworld?
This is somewhere you can go every Sunday night. But, well, you have to visit.
You can focus more, I think, on that. You know what? I don't know.
When there are no others, it's a little bit play God, yeah. Of course, they're all not taste.
On HBO show.
Well, I've worked for HBO before. It's amazing people to work for. I can sit here and superlative, right?
Up to my drive.
Oh, this camera. I thought you
We are live on Facebook, Clifton College Junior. Yes, we are. Igen. Why not? This is a show I know personally I've been super excited to see. I can't imagine what it's like to be in. J.J. Abrams, Jonathan Nolan are making it. Anthony Hopkins, Ed Harris, is this just sort of a dream project when you come to work every day?
It's not sort of a dream project.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a dream project. It is. I emailed Danielle, like, look, I had fun on Star Trek, I had fun on Aliens, all the other stuff. It's Westworld. That's like, I grew up on Westworld.
Yeah.
I grew up on, my whole career I've been dying to do any Western, much less a quality Western. You know, so it's like John Wayne did like 75 Westerns in his early 20s before he became any kind of remote name.
Right.
I mean, like, he was like, he just turned them out. This is like, to be able to have the honor and privilege to be on the caliber and the level of Kirk twice, JJ again, and Jonah again, and Lisa Joy, and Tony Hopkins, and Brian, and Rachel, and Harris, like, I bow down. I mean, it's like, you always long to look at that.
Thank you very much.
Reside in my genres and my grandfather takes
Right. Well, as you mentioned, it's like, you watch this show, if you were just flipping channels on the show, you just think this is a gorgeously shot Western until you got to the control room scenes. So is it just easy to sort of like, get lost in that when you're out there? And is it funny for you even to sort of see the other sides of the show when you're seeing the control room stuff?
I go to the other sides of the show because I just run it. I love everything about it.
Right.
So even if I got no part in it, I like run off and hide out on the sets and check it out. I'm not familiar with the world, so that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I play a behavioral program, so it's certainly.
So what can you tell us about your character? You do interact with Ed Harris quite a bit. So can you talk about that dynamic and what the relationship is?
I'm a bit of an outlaw.
Yeah, absolutely.
So just picture me outlaw with Ed Harris. I think that's I don't think I really need to talk about anything else. It's a pretty good take, right?
Right.
Am I wrong?
I think that's a pretty good amount. Yeah.
Pretty good. I'm just going to move forward with that because I think
if you've ever been
accurate. I feel like I'm saying too much.
Right.
Backstage area that they never let you see.
Crazy shit I've done.
Yeah.
Lord.
Was this a show where every day you got this came to set and it was like just another thing that you were getting to do, sort of like as you were kind of saying, a first for getting to do maybe a classic movie thing for the first time?
Well, it's not just another thing. I mean, one, there's a beautiful homage to the classic Western. When you see my character.
Yeah.
Coincidentally, to do with my girlfriend. I won't mention that. But yeah. So it's
Yeah.
writing's like cool.
Well, thank you so much. Really looking forward to this show. Yeah, thanks so much. Terry's back.
Awesome, I'm back. But we're going to be getting Shannon Woodward, who is another one of the stars, another one of the
Yeah.
I feel like that's the best way to differentiate the
Yeah,
cast.
and because it really is interesting watching the show because there are these completely different parts of the show. It really is sort of two series in one. And it's really interesting.
So yeah, I will say that the two different sides of Westworld are the control room side, where we see the behind the scenes of the park, and then the park itself, which is Westworld. And the main characters are sort of the people who work, the technicians, the people running the park, which will be Shannon's character when she comes to us next.
Might talk to Ingrid first.
We actually might talk to Ingrid first, who is the other side of the park, one of the hosts.
Yeah.
So she's coming over. Eric is going to chat.
Hey there. How's it going? Hey, nice to meet you, Eric. We're live on Facebook.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Hello, Facebook. How's it going?
Now, this show, there was a picture revealed from the show, I'd say almost a year ago, of you with a gun, but you've got some interesting markings on your face. It was very evocative right from the start. You were one of the sort of first images from the show. What can you say about your character and sort of the impression she makes in Westworld?
So I play an outlaw called Armistice. So Armistice is a part of the storylines that guests can choose when they come into the park. They can choose either to go with, nice storylines, or they can go into storylines that are more dark. And Armistice is definitely a part of the darker ways. So she's a bandit, and she's in the gang with Rodrigo Santoro's character, Hector. Hector Essenton. She's really brutal. She kills before she talks. She would say to you like, why? Why do you have to do this? I mean, like, stand here.
Right.
Oh, she's no bullshit. Yeah.
What's interesting with this show, of course, is for you, you're filming a Western. It's a sci-fi show, but not for a character like you who is just rooted in the Western. So is that an interesting dynamic for you, to go to set every day and get to play sort of a cowboy, and then know that there's this whole other thing happening with Anthony Hopkins and Jeffrey Wright's characters?
Yeah, that was strange, because we are only... I do go into... Well, I'm not going to... I see both worlds, but for the most part, I'm out and about in the woods. So we were dressed up in like really cowboy clothes and dusty, and then these slick, very pure and clean other colleagues of mine are coming along in the trailers and eating lunch, and so there was definitely a sort of a split. But yeah, it's this project, it's just a fantastically rare, complex combination of an amazing science fiction story combined with a ruthless Western. So, and it's fantastically impressive to see that Jonah Nolan and Lisa Joy and the rest of the writers has managed to put this together into this fantastic story. So people are in for a treat.
Thank you very much. I love what I've seen so far. Looking forward to seeing more. Thank you. Thanks a lot. We're going to keep going. We're going to talk to Shannon right now in 1 second. Do a switch up. Hey, Shannon.
So lovely to see you off the Twitter feed.
How's it going? We're Twitter friends.
What's up? What's up? We're Twitter friends.
Yes.
I don't want to brag.
That's right. We are live on Facebook.
Awesome. What's up, guys?
Talking Westworld here. I've been so psyched for this show for so long. What is it like to be in a show of this scope with so many amazing people involved?
I mean, it's insane. Mostly because we've been doing this for 2 years. So the idea that like half of this stuff that we're seeing, this kind of shit, was like built practically at work.
Right.
So I felt like I was coming home from work and not allowed to say anything to anyone about what I was actually doing. And even if I would have tried, it wouldn't have made any sense anyway. But I was like, guys, I had a crazy, you should have seen, never mind, don't worry about it. It was like I was living in some theme park that only 200 people were allowed to go to.
Right.
I mean, even though it was fake, so much of it is practical that it felt like, it was like a child's dream.
Excited to see.
Now talk about your character, and obviously she's in the tech side of things here at Westworld. So what does she make of this this crazy world that she's a part of?
I mean, I don't know. I don't think I'm actually allowed to say anything like that.
Is it J.J. Abrams' project?
What's really talented actors is athletes, and they really love what they're doing, and they like other artists, and I felt pretty quickly from being deeply terrified of being fired to just loving being around immediately.
How much of the show have you gotten to see so far? Big project, obviously, but to get to finally see it all put together and see the scope of it.
It's so exciting, especially because I read them, but
show, it's awesome. Thank you. Have a great time. I did. And that is life on a press line, by the way. It's like nothing's happening, and then everything's happening.
We've been having technical difficulties.
We have
audio difficulties. Now we're having a couple internet difficulties. Thank you for staying with us.
We're gonna throw every difficulty we can think of at you, and just pretend you're at Westworld and everything's going wrong.
I think it's a sign.
Maybe the androids are going crazy.
Which, if you're just joining us now, I'm very sure. This is Eric Goldman. We are your IGN TV team. We are live at the premiere of Westworld, HBO's next big show that I would argue is going to be its next takeover.
I think so too. I mean, I think just like HBO has a lot of great shows. Leftovers. If you're not watching Leftovers, watch it. But it's rare for any network to have a show that's sort of huge scope, has that true movie feel like Game of Thrones. And I think you can feel that HBO knows this is the first time since they launched Game of Thrones they have something on that level.
I will say, I watched the first episode first, obviously, but I had a bit of a wait before I got to see the next three, and it was a show I could not, sort of plagued by some production difficulties, but it was one of those things that was just knew what it it was right out the gate. And I liked all the mysteries that it presented. The characters are really engaging. In fact, up next is Sidney, who plays Therese, who's one of the main executives behind the scenes of Westworld. We were sort of talking earlier about how the cast and the story is split between the behind the scenes side of the park, which is this Wild West theme park where any person for an exorbitant amount of money can come and live out their cowboy fantasies. Poor girl.
Yeah.
And things are just starting to go wrong.
Yeah.
In the premiere is the best way to frame it.
Things are maybe off a little bit.
There's one of the main promotional shots that I've seen a lot is Ed and Rachel Wood, who's sort of the main host. She's the eye through which we first see Westworld. She plays this character Dolores. One of the promotional shots is a fly walking on her eye as she's like sort of powered down as an android. And it's one of those things, like things are just a little bit.
Yeah, but I will say also, I've talked to some of the cast at doing some other interviews and the producers about the show. Almost has like a meta feel to it because you could take the people in the control room almost as the showrunners. You know, they are controlling.
They literally are running the show.
Yeah, they are running the show and they are controlling. You know, the fate of these people. Jonathan Nolan has said he thought a lot about video games when making this show and the idea of a programmed life. Where in a video game, even if you have choices, you don't have unlimited choices because there's.
That's true. The androids are sort of like NPCs, essentially.
Yeah.
But imagine if, that random guy in the side room that you keep killing every time to get to the end goal, suddenly, maybe things weren't quite right about him. Maybe he remembered some of those times, and how would he react, and how would that affect him, and would his worldview be shattered? One of the actors mentioned that the big question in the show is, what is life? Androids are not technically alive.
Right.
They are created things, but when you program them to the point of living, to the point of thought and improvisational behavior, at what point do they count as being alive? In fact, one of the characters in one of the later episodes even said, if you can't tell the difference, what does it matter?
Yeah.
So that's sort of the big question. We're going to give you guys a view of the carpet. Things are really happening right now. We are about 10 minutes away from the screening supposedly starting. I bet I'll play $5 it's going to run late.
They almost always start late.
But some of the biggest stars are yet to come. Ed and Rachel Wood, James Marsden, and J.J. Abrams himself. So stay tuned and take a look at what's happening around us.
I mean, she's creative.
What's up, guys? We are live on Facebook here with Luke Hemsworth, who plays the character Stubbs.
Hello.
Hi. Larry. We're live on Facebook for IGN.
Hey, what's up?
And we're very excited about Westworld. Stubbs is the name of a character who you know is probably going to be a little bit of trouble. Would you describe Stubbs as trouble on the show?
No, not at all. He's a guy, he's a straight shooter. He likes to get things done, plays by the rules, but he's all about the people. He likes to protect the people.
Now, you are from Australia, but did you have cowboy fantasies, like traditional Wild West, John Wayne cowboy fantasies growing up?
Absolutely. Good, Bad, and the Ugly is still one of my favorite films, and I still have holsters with plastic guns hanging in the wardrobe.
You're going to find a way to sort of like sneak them into this?
I keep asking for them, but they won't let me have them. I don't know why.
So Stubbs, people have not seen the episode yet. I have. I selfishly have watched 4 already. But Stubbs works sort of behind the scenes in the control room. How would you sort of describe the main focus in the premiere episode?
In the premiere episode? Well, I'd say there's a glitch in the Matrix. I mean, in the first episode, it's not really apparent what's going on. I don't want to give too much away because I think part of the fun is uncovering the layers. And I haven't told my wife anything about this show. I've literally been learning lines by myself. So I think people need to discover it for themselves. But shit gets real.
Now, this Westworld is produced by Master of the Mystery Box, J.J. Abrams. Jonathan Nolan and Lisa Joy also have a tendency to keep a lot of secrets. When you came on board, how much of the story were you told? How much of the mysteries that were pulling back layers on were you aware of?
Nothing.
So why
I'm
was it a
still
yes?
unaware. You've seen more than I have. I swear to God. No, and it permeates through the whole thing. Is that everyone knows exactly what they need to know, and that's about it. You know, like I can ask for it as much as I want, but it doesn't come.
You guys have a crazy cast. You have Anthony Hopkins and Ed Harris in your cast, which
Yeah.
I'm sure is a bit crazy. And not actually, now that I think about it, you might have already known Anthony.
I know Anthony. Yes, I've met him a couple of times around the traps. You know, like, hey Tony, how are you?
Do you and your brother Chris at all have any rivalry about who is the better Anthony Hopkins role in project?
I mean, I win hands down all the time. Every rivalry we have.
Do you every rivalry?
Everyone.
It doesn't
Yeah.
matter. Did you have a pinch me moment at all when you were filming the episodes of this season? And what you're bringing to life?
Yes and no. I mean, most days I pinch myself and go, wow, I'm working in California and I don't have to move to another state. There's Tony and there's Jeffrey and, you know, like, yes, there's a lot of pinch yourself moments. So I'm very, very happy with what's happening.
And last question before I let you go. Westworld brings sort of the corporate sci-fi corporation side of things in, but also does its own spin on the Wild West. What was sort of the most fun world of these two worlds for you to play in?
Look, for me, the Wild West, because I don't get to go there much, but it's part of my childhood, and, you know, it's something I really, really love and follow very closely. So that part of the world for me is just sublime, and it's so real and tactile, and I hope I get to, you know, wear a 6-year at one stage.
Yeah, I mean, you have it already, right? You just got to bring it.
Yeah, it's just not quite down there.
Not the same. Well, it's such a pleasure to meet you. The show is great. I'm so excited for people to see it on
Right.
Thank you.
So we are towards the end of the carpet now. That was Luke Hemsworth, which if you thought that he looked familiar, he is the brother of Chris Hemsworth and Liam Hemsworth.
There is another.
So again, things are a bit crazy. Everything is coming together. I see James Marsden. We have Rodrigo Santoro coming. You know, Xerxes from 300, and he's coming up next. Now he plays sort of one of the bad guys, one of your typical bad cowboys in Westworld. Hi, Rodrigo. I'm Terry. We're actually live on IGN Facebook right now. I know. So you're talking right into this iPhone. And I was telling everyone who's watching, your character, I would say, is sort of a bad cookie in the world of Westworld.
Who knows?
But that I think is what is interesting, right? Because he's a host, one of the androids.
I don't know about that. You're guessing that.
I'm guessing.
It's not being proven.
I think,
but okay.
But
yes, I like that.
Yes,
you guess.
I'm guessing.
Right?
But the thing about the characters within Westworld is they're programmed right into specific stories.
The hosts, yeah.
Yes. So you think that maybe they're locked into it. Is there some freedom in your performance to sort of add more complexity to a character who's supposed to be already written to be one note, one story?
There's a lot of layers to be explored. And in fact, that I believe that the actors that play hosts in the show are experiencing something like a method actor, which is, yes, they are programmed, but I wish it could really reveal some stuff to you.
See, I know already. I probably know too much because I've seen the first 4 episodes.
Okay, so you do, but
right, but the people at home have not seen
so
it.
we shouldn't
give away too much.
Yeah, but basically, yes, we do have some freedom, and it's just hard to explain, but easy to understand when you watch the series, and I think viewers will be able to understand exactly as the series goes. Things are revealed, and you start to, and that's the beauty of it, right?
One of the things that I think is really interesting that we've talked a little bit about some of the structure of the characters, like Dolores' character, Evan Rachel Wood's character, Dolores, replays the same day over and over with different versions. What's sort of the fun of that for you guys as actors to literally get the same scene but get to play it out in different ways and have different tells?
The characters that are playing the hosts are, they have what we call narratives, but it's like on stage, people that have done stage before, if you ask, you do the same thing over and over and over, it's never the same experience. And also they are shot in different ways, so it's never the same, never ever the same. They have the same routine, but it's a different experience every time.
Now, our IGN viewers at home probably know and love you best as Xerxes from 300 and 300 Rise of the Empire.
I had hair. I had no hair.
No hair
at that time.
I was going to say, I was like, I think we're
And
watching
a lot lot going on.
You had
a lot going on, right?
Definitely a lot going on. What was the yes about this project? Like another adaptation, another big classic in the genre.
Everything. It was a no-brainer. Like, you know, you guys say, it was just the whole concept. I love the concept of the show. I love the questions that are, you know, we're trying to raise. I love the nature of the show. I love the character they proposed to me. I love the whole cast. I am a true admirer of the creators of the show. I think HBO, it's, you know, just fantastic to work with. Deeply committed to, you know, content. So there was not one thing about it that, you know, made me think twice. I really wanted to be a part of it, and I'm very proud to be here tonight.
Now, we've been covering Westworld a lot. We've been talking spoiler-free about why we are so excited about it, but I'm curious for you. I mean, there are a lot of mysteries introduced in that first episode that you've now had a chance to sort of journey to their end. What do you think is one of those big questions in the premiere? Again, not getting into spoilers, but was really the most rewarding to watch play out?
I believe that the show will be very thought-provoking to people, because it is for us as actors.
What was it that you found most thought-provoking?
It's just, you know, it is, the show is also about, you know, exploring human nature. How far can we go? You know, it's a place where it's an immersive experience where the guests, you know, the visitors, can take their ID on vacation to a world where, you know, there's no consequence to their actions. So you can imagine all the stuff, you know, if you just indulge your fantasies, your desires, and at the end of the day, it is really, you know, there's all these great emotional questions that you know, talk about our deepest fears and you know, and how do we behave when those are challenged, and basically, you know, who is the good guy, who's the bad guy? That's a question that I bet you're not going to be able to answer, and that's the whole thing.
That's why I was trying to key you up a little bit with that first one, but I know we can't get into spoilers. I'm very interested to see how characters maybe we think at first are bad guys there might be more.
And this is just the surface, okay? I'm just saying, you know, good and bad. That's pretty obvious, but there's a
Well, Rodrigo, it was such a pleasure to speak with you.
Same here.
Love the premiere. Can't wait for everyone at home to get
Westworld,
a chance to
everyone.
see it.
October 2nd, Sunday.
Have a good night. Now, up next, we actually have Jeffrey Wright from IGN. We're actually live on Facebook right now. The people at home are streaming live and watching. They're very jealous that we know. I've seen the first 4 episodes. You obviously know a lot more than we do.
Yes.
Now, your character Bernard is one of the main people behind the scenes at Westworld who's sort of running the control room. And I was watching it, and I don't know if it was because you were also in the Hunger Games or just sort of the setting was a little bit evocative, but it felt a little bit similar in the control room element. Did you feel any similarities to the sci-fi nature of those properties?
Well, they're, you know, 2 sci-fi, you know, films. They exist in that genre, sure. And, you know, like B.T., Bernard is a scientist. And
sort of on the different side of the story.
And very tech-savvy. But that's pretty much where it ends for me. Westworld is its own entity, and the writing behind this thing is pretty singular. And for us, we hadn't read, you know, much like it before. Jonah Nolan and Lisa Joy, some of the most creative, inventive, curious, masterful storytellers that I've worked with, and I've worked with some great folks. So we're all doing our own thing.
I would say one of the biggest questions in the show is, we've sort of talked about it on the stream already, but what is life? Bernard is a character who is trying to control these androids, these hosts in the park, and control their stories as things, we'll just say, start to go a little bit off. What do you find most compelling about that idea of what is life, and how do you sort of define what is a living creature?
Well, obviously with artificial intelligence, the nature of that technology, even that's one of the key questions, is when do these creations actually become new life forms? But I think what was interesting for me to dig down to was this idea of consciousness, because how do we replicate, you know, human behavior, human impulse? And so that idea of what a scientist has to do to layer memories onto a host, as we call them, so that they can mimic human behavior, really kind of reflected a journey into what consciousness is for us. Not to be overly heavy about it, but it was really curious because, as well as actors, we're kind of drawn, we're asked to draw on past experiences to tell these stories, to bring out certain emotions, to evoke certain ideas. So really kind of a strange, multifaceted, mirrored room that we were walking in, and we were stoked about it. We loved it. So I'm just really I'm really excited for audiences finally to join us in this room and cast their own reflections, and go on this trip with us.
Now, the original story of Westworld came from Michael Crichton's mind, and we've been talking, something terrible must have happened to him at an amusement park between spawning the idea of Westworld and spawning the idea of Jurassic Park. Now, if you had a chance to visit one of those in real life, which would you rather go to? Would you rather visit Westworld, or would you rather visit? Did you have like cowboy fantasies growing up? Did you want to go to the Wild West?
I never wanted to be a cowboy. I always wanted to be on the other side of that. I never aspired to that side at all. No. I wanted to be out there, bareback.
Yeah.
Great.
Well, hopefully we get to see you have some fun in the Westworld as well on the other side of the control room. But such a pleasure. Enjoyed what I saw so much. Can't wait to see more. Have a wonderful night. Enjoy the premiere.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. We are at the bitter end of this red carpet. Up next, we have James Marsden, who plays one of the more mysterious characters, I would say, in the premiere. So what are your sort of thoughts as we're winding to a close for Westworld? That is awesome. That is awesome. Yeah, if people, for whatever reason, are just joining us at the tail end, what are the key things that they should know about Westworld?
Robots, cowboys, Hopkins, Abrams, Nolan.
So up next, again, we're waiting on James Marsden. You know, probably best as Cyclops from the X-Men movies. But he plays Teddy in this
Teddy
show.
Flood, amazingly cool name.
Teddy Flood is an amazingly cool name. We don't hear his last name too much, but he's a little bit more of an enigma from the beginning. This is Terry from IGN. And we are actually, I think you might be one of our last interviews of the carpet. We are live on Facebook right now.
You're live. I didn't even get the heads up about that.
So definitely, Flub, give away all the spoilers. We don't have time stuff.
Boy, I have a lot of power right now, don't I? Knowing that you're live. I know nothing.
You know nothing.
No.
What was the yes moment for you in this project when you first got pitched? I imagine it was probably pretty early on.
Yeah, it was a while back. I mean, I was shooting a film in New Orleans, and Jonah Nolan Skyped with me for about 30 minutes and told me what the show was about and kind of what I would be playing, and I got excited because it sounded like a world that I wanted to be in, and as an actor, but also someone who just wanted to go to the park. So yeah, it was. I was a fan of his work. I just believe to have longevity in this business, you want to surround yourself with the greatest minds, the greatest writers and producers and directors. And this was just. I was one of the last people to come on board, I think. So I saw all the cast that had assembled. It was just a no-brainer for me.
Talk to me a little bit about getting to shoot in Westworld physically, because I think what people might not know, seeing the finished product of a movie, is a set is usually a bunch of broken parts, right? It's not usually one full set. It's like you're in one half of the room and then you shoot in the other half of the room.
Right.
But you guys built Westworld, so what was it like actually getting to film there and film in this Wild West?
Well, it was the closest thing that I would imagine to actually stepping foot in this futuristic, fantastical park. I mean, we were as actors immersing ourselves in these characters in this 360, three-dimensional park, and it was detailed to every little. I mean, there were days on set we had 300 extras. It was crazy. It was like you were really there. So the sort of 8-year-old boy in me could put on a holster and fire a gun and ride a horse and chaps and the whole thing. It was exciting. Obviously, the show goes a lot deeper than that, but I couldn't suppress a smile, that's for sure.
Well, I think what's interesting about the show, too, and its portrayal of this Western is, even though it's supposed to be evocative of what we think of for Westerns, because that's what the people coming to the park are supposed to think, there also is this futuristic element. So what did you sort of go to as inspiration for the cowboy side of things, the Wild West side of things?
I watched some old spaghetti Westerns.
Any favorite?
I mean, all the Eastwood ones were great, but don't know if I have a Wild Bunch. I think is one of my favorites. But there were a lot. Some of the Peckinpah films. So it was fun to sort of again. That's the Western is we kind of have to resurrect it a bit. It's been gone for a while. I think Unforgiven maybe.
Now there's Magnificent Seven, sort of
Magnificent
funny
Seven coming back, right? Yeah. So we're kicking it off. Us and Magnificent Seven.
It's a very fun new riff, and I'll say I watched 4 episodes of Westworld and then went and watched Magnificent Seven. And I had these moments where I was like, are they just playing? Like, where's the control room? Right? You like it very much gets into that world.
It's funny how it's just sort of out there in the universe and it comes together.
Now our fans are so excited about Westworld, but they also probably know you best from the X-Men movies where you played Scott Summers. I'm curious, did you have a chance to watch X-Men Apocalypse, which introduced a new, different, younger version of the character?
You know what? And I don't want to upset the fans, but I have not been able to see Apocalypse yet. I think it just came out on. I have 3 kids, so I don't see the movies that I'm in. I don't see movies as much as I should. So. I hope that doesn't upset people, but I'm excited to see it at home now that it's out on, I was going to say Blockbuster Video. This is how old I am, sorry.
Netflix, whatever the kids are watching now, Snapchat.
Apple TV, there we go. So I'm going to be watching it soon, but no, Ty, I don't know him that well, but I met him a few times. Ty is one of the nicest kids, and he wrote me a handwritten letter when he signed on to do the role and saying I got big shoes to fill, and it was just this most kind, thoughtful thing. And he's from,
It's really
Austin, Texas. I'm from Oklahoma. He's just a good kid, and I was excited that I think he's a tremendous actor, and he's going to take that role to new, very cool places.
Well, I think it is really cool, the whole world that Bryan Singer has created is that this is a character who will grow into be your version of Cyclops, and probably very much through your performance. Was that surreal at all for you?
Oh, I think he took it to a whole other level. I think he's given some opportunities to do some really cool work. And, it's an honor. to have him doing it. It's exciting, but I've seen every other one of them.
Okay, you're only one behind. That's like me behind on many TV shows. You're fine. No, I didn't mean to call you out on it. You'll get it. You'll get it from Blockbuster.
Call me out on it on live TV. It's called TV, right?
It's
on
live
TV.
It's
World
Facebook.
Wide Web.
I don't know. Well,
called me out on live World Wide Web.
Everyone is going to be wanting to watch Westworld live when it premieres on Sunday, so I can't wait for them to get a chance to watch it. I can't wait to see more of it.
Check it out. It's bananas. It'll go crazy places. But you'll enjoy it.
Such a pleasure speaking with you, Sarah. Have a great night.
You got it. Bye.
Bye. All right, now we have one interview left of the night, and I would say probably the person having seen the first 4 episodes, I'm most excited to talk to Evan Rachel.
I think if you watch this show, you'll see why she says that, because Evan Rachel Wood who's a great actress, but this show gives her such a great sort of platform, and her character is so interesting right from the beginning. Just the way they open, first shot is of her eyes, and it just draws you in right away. So yeah, she's a really a standout. An amazing cast here too.
It is an amazing cast. She's the one who I just found myself most sort of engaged by, and it's interesting because her character, she plays host Dolores, and her character is very much, I was going to say sweet Southern Belle, I guess sweet Western Belle. She's very much like the sweet Virgin
open-hearted.
Yes, just like living open, like very such complexity in the character. Again, we talked about sort of the format of the show is because of the way the host situation is structured, the androids. Actually, we're getting Candy now. Who plays Candy on the show? Another one of the hosts. She actually plays like the lead madam in the main bar brothel setup, who ends up having a lot more to do in the show than I expected, which is really, really exciting. So I'm very much looking forward to seeing where her character goes. Again, about the episode 3, episode 4 mark, I was like, oh, this is going in a direction I did not expect. So she's coming over right now, and we're going to be chatting with her.
It says that Westworld says a lot about it.
Hi, Jenny. I'm Carrie from IGN. Oh, sorry, mine mine are too. We'll just have an awkward sweaty. You know, it's tropical. It's very humid in LA. No, I feel like I'm in a carnival mood. Yeah, I like it. Well, we're here to celebrate. We're actually live on Facebook right now as well. They get to hear about our sweaty hands, the biggest scoop about Westworld. Sweaty hands. No, I was just saying, so I've seen the first 4 episodes, and I don't want to get into spoilers, but your character's storyline goes in a direction I was not expecting. Was that sort of the original pitch for you, like that sort of hook and the directions things go? And what were you most excited about in getting to tackle some of those storylines?
Oh my goodness. Westworld, just the concept is really set up to challenge our views.
to challenge what we expect of ourselves, to challenge what we the reality of what we're actually, doing in the world. And it's all wrapped up in a beautifully designed, beautifully executed piece of television.
I think this.
So I was just as surprised as the audience will be, because the audience is discovering stuff about Maeve as she's discovering it about herself, and I felt like that too. I felt I was discovering things about myself through playing her and through the time I spent with Jonah and Lisa and the ambition of what they want to do with this project. I mean, for someone who I work hard as an activist for women's rights, human rights, it's something that's more important to me than any endeavour as an actress. And so for me to be playing a woman who is not only the madam of a saloon, but also to be 75% of the time naked in the show. I mean, there's got to be something in there.
Yeah, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about that. So Maeve is the madam, as you said, of the saloon, and she's literally programmed just based on what Westworld is to be
intuit a person's wildest sexual fantasy and to read them like a book.
So talk to me about, again, she is supposed to be sort of this stereotypical character, but you get to expand upon that and offer, I think it's...
What happens with Maeve is that she discovers things about herself that she did not know. And it's the journey that takes her on is wild. It's a wild ride. Westworld is a wild ride.
I think that's the perfect tease for her. Now, I know you have to run in to actually watch that episode. I can't wait for you to see it on the big screen.
I can't wait for my husband to see it on the big screen.
But have a wonderful night. Such a pleasure speaking with you. I can't wait for people to see the show.
Another sweaty,
yeah, I know, another.
handshake.
I treasure it. Have a wonderful night. All right, so that is actually our last interview of the night. We lost, actually, I see J.J. Abrams from afar, but I don't know if we're going to get him. Let's keep talking and see how that goes.
See if
because
the
we
Force
definitely...
will bring us J.J.
I think the Force is strong.
Premiere is a strong battle, so we'll find out what happens. By the way, I was just looking at Twitter because I was tweeting out some photos of the press line. I tweeted one of James Marsden and someone said, hold that thought.
We are going to get J.J.
Yeah, we're talking to this guy, J.J. Abrams.
Who obviously, I mean, he's coming off Star Wars: The Force Awakens.
He also produced Star Trek
Beyond.
Because, he's a little...
And yet he's coming to Westworld, but I think that it's not, going... This TV show is on the scale of his movies he's created. You definitely see his force in it, even in the mystery box element of it. Like, we're talking to some people tonight that you'll see in the premiere. We couldn't even touch upon the spoilers, but they did really want to preserve sort of the secrecy of the show. And I think the fun of it is learning things that surprise you. Like, you were just talking to Tandy Newton, who plays Maeve, who... In the first episode, I thought, you think you know the character that they're portraying, and it goes in a direction I did not expect, and that's really fun. I'm really looking forward to the other mysteries that we'll see.
Yeah, a lot of these characters, you're unraveling a lot about them and what their lives have been. It's ever fascinating on that show. Layers.
Here we've got J.J. Abrams right now. Very sexy. Hi, J.J. He's saying hi to Rodrigo Santoro right now, one of the stars of the show, but he's coming over. Hi, J.J. I'm Terry from IGN. We're actually live on Facebook right now. So the people at home, we've been keeping them safe from all spoilers.
Oh, thank you.
Now, Westworld is a project that you've been wanting to work, you've been trying to bring to life for many, many years. Why is it a project that so compelled you, and what are you so excited about the finished product we'll see on Sunday?
Well, first of all, this is a movie I loved when I was a kid. This haunting, can never forget Yul Brynner in that movie. I met with Michael Crichton 20 years ago about this. I met with Jerry Weintraub 10 years ago about this. To be here tonight at the premiere, it feels like a wonderful party, a long time coming. And Jonah and Lisa, who created this version of the story, have done such an extraordinary job, and I just can't wait for everyone here and people at home to see it.
Obviously, expanding a 2-hour-long movie and a novel into a full series that will hopefully run for seasons and seasons involves adding new layers. What was sort of the most important complexity that you wanted to bring to this story from the project that you worked?
Well, the thing that I thought made it interesting was one of the things was the idea of telling it from the point of view of the hosts. But Jonah and Lisa have done all of the, I think, remarkable heavy lifting, both on camera and off camera. By off camera, I mean behind the scenes at Westworld. On camera being at the park itself, the guest seat. but where it goes, like when you see where this goes, and we just watched the final episode, it is unbelievable, and the cast is mind-blowing, and Jonah and Lisa have done this amazing thing and told this story intricately and thoughtfully, and I think what a pleasure.
Now, we're IGN, we love our video games. I do have to ask you, while I have you here, we were so excited when you came on board with the Half-Life and Portal movies, and I was just curious if you had any update on those projects. Are they still in development? Are you still...
They're very much still in development. We actually have a meeting coming up this week, next week, with Valve. We're very active, and I'm hoping that there can be a Portal announcement fairly soon.
I'm curious, obviously, Half-Life specifically, people are hoping for Half-Life 3 if and when it ever happens. But that's the story people are...
You have to ask Dave about that.
No, I'm not. That's not a question. That's just
we're all waiting for that one.
Right? But that's the story people are looking to see continue. Portal as well just has such a compelling story. Are you guys looking to continue that story in any way, or do your own twist on it in the big screen?
We are having, I think, some really interesting discussions with writers, many of whom are like crazy obsessed. Like, it's once you say that you're doing a movie or a show about a specific thing that is a known quantity, it's an amazing thing how you start to find people who are rabid about some of these things. And as someone who loved playing Half-Life, loved playing Portal, you think, what's the movie of this? It actually is incredible how when you talk to someone who just kind of gets it, is a great storyteller, you kind of go, oh my God, like, it really is a seed for this incredible, tree that they are growing. So I look forward to being able to talk about it and sort of announce who's working on it.
Yeah, it sounds like you might have found a writer. I'm very excited about it. I also am curious, you're coming off a huge past 365 days between Star Wars, between Dord, and also Star Trek Beyond, also Dord. I'm curious if you can talk a little bit about, you've announced a fourth movie, and you've announced Chris Hemsworth is coming back. Do you have any updates on that, and sort of what your hopes and plans are for the continuation of that?
It's too early to talk about that, but we'll have something soon.
Lots of exciting announcements. I can't wait for people to see Westworld on Sunday.
Me too, man.
I can't wait to see more. I've seen 4 episodes, and I'm like, oh, I need to wait a month for
I'm
more.
so glad you liked it, but wait till you see where it goes. It's pretty unbelievable what they did.
Awesome. Well, such a pleasure speaking with you. Nice to see you as always.
See ya.
Have a great night.
Thank you.
All right, well, that's it for us.
Hey, that guy's very successful. I don't know if you know that.
He's very successful.
Yeah, he's done some things. Things you might have seen.
It's funny because we just watched a lot of the first episode of Lost recently, and it reminded me, 10 years ago, just how different TV, 12 years ago, a decade ago, we'll say, how different TV was and how much he's really been an influential part in changing the direction of television as a medium to the point that in Westworld as a big
Well, I mean, he didn't direct the pilot to Westworld, but he directed the pilot to Lost, which is one of the best pilots ever, I'd say.
I think that's why I was thinking about it earlier, where I was like, oh yeah, he directed that.
And so cinematic and so different, especially for network TV when that aired. So yeah, you see when he's doing something like Westworld, and it just seems like the sort of natural progression, although, it takes a while to get there, of just how big he can go and how he sees things as just in this sort of grand terms. And I think Westworld is going to deliver for people who are... Abrams and Jonathan Nolan are two such great creators, and them together is really exciting.
If you stayed with us this whole night, we adore you. If you just came with us,
sorry for the technical issues.
Sorry for the technical issues.
It was the Westworld guys in the background.
But this is a show that we are so excited about. You can expect to see a lot more coverage on IGN from Eric, myself, and probably a lot more people. I think everyone from top to bottom is really thrilled for this show.
Get on the train.
Hopefully you were excited a little bit from what you saw tonight, from our interviews with the cast. Stay tuned. Your review of the premiere is actually already up on the site.
Up right now.
And you should stay tuned for Sunday's premiere at 10 p.m.
9 p.m. Probably 9 p.m.
in the evening on HBO on October 2nd. Have a great night.
Thanks, guys.